Hey everyone, and welcome. Have you ever scrolled through wellness advice and wondered, is any of this ancient stuff actually legit? Well, today we're putting some of that Ayurvedic wisdom on trial, pitting it against modern science to see what holds up.
So what's the deal? Are these health habits that have been around for thousands of years timeless truths, or are they just total myths? We're going to dig in, Mythbuster style, and really look at the evidence behind some of the most popular daily rituals.
All right, first up, let's look at where ancient wisdom and modern science basically give each other a high five. These are the practices that get a clear, undeniable green light from both sides of the aisle. We're going to start with something that sounds almost too simple. Just drinking a glass of warm water when you wake up. You know, in Ayurveda, this isn't just about hydration. It's a foundational ritual for gently waking up your entire system. And this is where it gets really cool. Ayurveda talks about flushing out ama, which you can think of as metabolic waste or toxins. And what does modern science say? Well, it confirms that warm water in the morning literally kickstarts your metabolism and, gets your whole digestive system moving. It's two different languages describing the exact same benefit. So, the verdict on this one? It's a total win. Absolutely aligned. Starting your day with warm water is a super simple habit that has some real, solid science behind it. Next on the docket, waking up before the sun. Ayurveda has a special name for this time, Brahma Muhurta, that period right before dawn. It's considered the absolute best time to wake up for mental clarity and focus. And again, look how beautifully these two worlds connect. That ancient idea of mental clarity lines up perfectly with what we now know about our circadian rhythm. That's our body's internal clock. Getting that early morning sunlight helps regulate key hormones. It tells your cortisol, hey, time to be alert, and it helps set your melatonin cycle for a better night's sleep later. So yeah, another one for the win column. Rising early isn't just some old-fashioned advice. It's a powerful way to work with your body's natural biology, and science totally backs it up. Okay, let's talk about food. But we're not talking about what to eat, we're talking about when. One of the biggest principles in Ayurveda is that lunch, not dinner, should be your largest meal of the day. I love this one because it's such a perfect translation. Ayurveda uses this amazing metaphor of a digestive fire, or Agni, being strongest at noon. Science comes along and says, yep, that's because your body's insulin sensitivity is at its peak. In plain English, that means your body is way more efficient at using that food for energy right then, instead of just storing it as fat. Just take a look at this chart. It shows your body's fuel efficiency throughout the day. You can see it's high in the morning, hits its absolute peak around noon, and then really drops off at night. It's just like a car. You get way better mileage in the middle of the day, so that's the best time to fill up the tank. Honestly, this one is a slam dunk. Making lunch your main meal might be one of the most powerful and scientifically validated pieces of ancient wisdom out there. It's strongly aligned. Okay, but it's not always such a perfect story. Now it's time for a little reality check. Let's dive into a really popular habit where the truth, well, it's a little more complicated. I'm sure you've heard of this one, oil pulling. The idea is you swish some oil, like coconut oil, around in your mouth for about 15 minutes. The claims are pretty big, but does it actually live up to all that hype? So here is where we see a real split. Ayurveda makes these huge claims, saying oil pulling can literally pull toxins from your entire body. Modern science, on the other hand, says, whoa, let's slow down. The benefits seem to be mostly in your mouth. It can reduce some of the bad bacteria that cause plaque and gingivitis. But a miracle cure, not so much. So our verdict here has to be partially true. It's not a total myth. There are some benefits, but it's definitely not the full-body detox or miracle whitener that people sometimes claim it is. The truth is somewhere in the middle. So let's just get really clear on the bottom line here. What can it do? Yes, it can help reduce some plaque and bacteria. But what can't it do? It can't pull toxins from your bloodstream, and it's not going to dramatically whiten your teeth. Think of it as a nice addition to brushing and flossing, not a replacement for them. Okay, so we've seen where they align, we've seen where it gets a little murky. Now let's look at one habit that both ancient wisdom and modern science agree is probably a bad idea. The post-dinner nap. Lying down on the couch after a big meal can feel so tempting, right? But it turns out this is one habit that both traditions give a major thumbs down. And here we go again with the two different languages saying the same thing. Ayurveda warns that sleeping right after dinner creates a kapha imbalance, which basically makes you feel heavy and sluggish. Modern science gets more specific. It can mess up your digestion, cause things like acid reflux, and throw your blood sugar regulation out of whack. The verdict is crystal clear on this one. Avoid it. No matter how you slice it, this is a habit to skip. The best advice? Give your body at least a couple of hours to digest before you lie down for the night. So, after all of this, what's the big takeaway? It's pretty clear that the smartest path forward isn't about choosing one over the other. It's about blending the best of the past with the knowledge of the present. I think it really boils down to this. The goal isn't to blindly follow ancient rules or to only trust what's new. It's about being a critical thinker, using that ancient wisdom as a fantastic starting point, but then using modern science to really understand why it works, and then you can build a routine that truly works for you. And so I'll just leave you with this one final question to chew on. What piece of our modern health advice, the stuff we think is cutting edge right now, do you think will still be considered true 1,000 years from now? Something to think about. Thanks so much for joining me.